All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. All right, so I want to entitle this lesson, Signs of the Times. And just got inspired to do this lesson just after a couple of posts I seen on social media. You know, posts about earthquakes, talking about the Pacific Rim and how a lot of these, volcanoes around the Pacific perimeter, like, on the West Coast up to Alaska, on to Russia. There was I believe it was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake in, I guess you could say, eastern Russia, but closer to like Alaska and things like that. And you had a tsunami advisory going on for the west coast of the United States and Hawaii and everything like that, right? And I saw a post yesterday with scientists, whether this is true or not, but scientists apparently are tracking or could possibly believe that the alien spacecraft is headed towards Earth, right? A possibly hostile alien threat is headed towards Earth. Now, we in this truth, we know that there's no such thing as aliens. But what we do know is that the angels are the beings that operate these so-called unidentified flying objects, right? UFOs, right? And these are signs of the times, right? There's going to be signs in the sky, earthquakes, various different things going on that's been prophesied in the scriptures that are, going to let us know how close we are and how close we're getting to the end. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be various signs that are going to let us know how close we're getting to the end of this kingdom, to the end of, Babylon the Great, the ruler Esau, Edom, and the end of this current world, right? There's going to be signs of the end, right? So, Salaki, I'm getting my truck is getting unloaded, and they was calling me talking about they couldn't find my paperwork in the back of the trailer. They didn't look, right? So, but anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the scriptures, man. Let's go ahead and get into this is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen," right? So it says, every eye shall see him. So they're talking about they believe an alien spacecraft is headed towards Earth, right? Well, we know that in that day, in the end, in the day of the Lord, and when Yahweh Shah makes his return, every eye is going to see him. And what is he going to return? And he's going to return in a giant spacecraft, right? He's going to return in a giant chariot, or what the average person would deem to be a giant spacecraft, right? Let me go here. Let me try and find find it in the book of Second Esdras. Yeah, here it is. This is the book of Second Esdras, chapter 13. Start at verse 5, and it says, "And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not." Right? And that mountain is talking about the chariot that Yahushua is going to come back in. You know, Esdras described it as being so, that chariot being so large, you couldn't see past it. You know, so every eye, every human, everyone that's left here on this earth at the coming of Yahweh, it's like at the coming of Yahushua, they're going to see, you know, they're going to be able to see this mountain. They're going to be able to see Yahushua. Right? They're going to see the coming of the Lord. You know, it's not going to be a situation of, you know, it's not going to be a secret. It's not going to be something that, you know, it's going to be a huge event. Salakia. It's going to be a huge event when the Lord comes back and when the Lord makes his appearance, when Yahushua makes his appearance. Right? It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 3, and it says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Yahushua, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows," right? So there's going to be earthquakes. There's going to be nation rising against nation, right? There's going to be pestilences. There's going to be various different things going on at the same time, which we're seeing right now. You know, we're seeing these things go on right now here in this kingdom, here in the world in general, right? And all of these things are going to be happening in the time of the end before the Lord comes, right? Verse 9, it says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this is the gospel of the kingdom. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come," right? So, you know, the Lord, all of these things are going to happen in the day that the Lord comes, in the day of the end, you know, or leading up to it, right? So the things that we're seeing, we're just seeing signs of the times that we're living in right now. We're seeing signs of the end. We're seeing signs an end time prophecy, right? So these things talking about an alien spacecraft, which could very well be a chariot, right? When you know the scriptures, you understand that that so-called alien spacecraft could very well be a chariot. It could very well be the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, or Salakia Yahweh Shah and the angels, you know, coming to coming back to take back the earth, take back this world, right? And deliver the elect. You know, that could very well be a chariot. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, starting at verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs," right? So we're going to see signs that are letting us know that we're at the end. You know, we're going to see signs that are going to let us know we're at the end. Right? In earthquakes, you know, some of these things going on in the heavens that these scientists claim to be seeing, you know, these things are happening. Right? So these are all signs that we're at the end of this kingdom, man. We're at the end of this world, this current world, right? So, man, with that being said, Lord willing, this was the edifying video, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chakwarash. And until next time, shalom.